better. So thank you for that.
Okay.
So before we begin, we officially have to, say welcome everybody and thank you so much for being here today. Some of you know me. My name is Paulina, and I'm a local real estate agent here in the state of Georgia, and I'm part of Keller Williams North Atlanta. And today I'm super excited to be here with Kelley. Kelley, please introduce yourself.
Sure. So happy to be here. I'm Kelley Dantulis. I'm with a home mortgage company called Angel Oak Home Loans. We are a national lender. And we lend to first-time home buyers, to seasoned investors looking to add to their portfolio, and everything in between. So looking forward to the program today and questions and such. So thank you for having me.
Yes. Sorry, I'm adding in more people. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much. We've been friends for, oh my gosh, it's going to be almost a year now, probably.
Yes.
And since we met, we were like, okay, let's do this.
Immediate click.
Yes. So I'm so excited that's finally happening.
Yes.
So I thought we should first start with kind of basic questions. The whole goal of this meeting is to, answer questions regarding buying a house. So usually the first step when you want to buy a house is first find a realtor that obviously can advise you. That's what we do every day. You want to be very aware of what the market is doing. And then you want to talk to a lender because you want to know how much money you have to spend.
Sure.
You want to be smart with your time. And sometimes this happens. You don't want to fall in love with a house that maybe it's not in your price point at that moment.
Right.
So first question, what documents do I want to get pre-approved?
So the basic documents to get pre-approved is well, let me back up. So home loan is based primarily off of your income and your debts and your credit score. Those three things. So the most basic documents to get started is really just your 30 days of pay stubs, last 2 years of W-2s, which establishes your income.
Okay.
And then the other document I would say to get pre-approved is the application itself. So when you go on and apply, and you fill out the residential mortgage application, it has, obviously your income information in there, your credit score, and any debts that you may have, it will pull that in. And so I would say that the primary document to get started would be the home loan application.
Okay. And that usually takes?
A home loan application can take, it's very short. It takes about 10 or 15 minutes to fill out.
Okay.
Completely and entirely.
Okay.
And then from that process, myself as the lender can pull everything in, take a look at it. And then typically I would, then call the borrower and discuss, what's on the application. But the time to fill out the application and such is very short. It's about a 10 or 15 minute process.
Okay. And once you receive that application, we instantly get that pre-qualification letter, or you have to look at documents?
So what we can do is I can take information off of the application.
Okay.
And do a pre-approval based on the information on the application. Once I talk with the borrower just to verify that, everything that comes in on the application actually translated correctly and there's not, missing a zero or needing to add a zero to something.
Right.
And just really discuss the debts and things like that on the application. So I don't have to have every piece of information verified at that time, but I would be issuing the pre-approval letter based on that information being accurate going forward, which we would need to gather those documents at some point in the process. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Now, in this market, which it's a little crazy.
Yes.
We are thinking that probably next year, not as crazy as 2021, but still very active in, moving fast pace.
Right.
So what do you see are the benefits of being pre-approved ahead of time?
Right. Great question. Multiple benefits of being pre-approved. I think you touched on one of them, meaning like knowing what your price point is.
Right.
That is so critical.
Yes.
I mean, not only for you to know and not, make sure that you're looking at properties that fall within your price range.
Right.
Also, you have a sense of, for negotiation reasons too.
Right.
How far you higher if you had to counteroffer and such. So you go in very confident on where you land there. So that's usually important. The other really important piece of being pre-approved as you go in for contract is inventory is very low, has been very low. So we see an environment of multiple offers on one house. And when you come in pre-approved, you automatically get put on the top of that pile because, the listing agent knows that you are a serious buyer.
Right.
You have been in contact with a lender and you're pre-approved. So there's no concerns with that.
Right.
It helps with the contract negotiations. The financing contingency could be a lot shorter than others who are competing to get that property.
Right.
And then ultimately you will close quicker.
Exactly.
Because a lot of the work to get your application approved, fully approved, has already been done.
Right.
So it makes the entire process smoother and gives the buyer the best opportunity to get that property that, you've looked at and fell in love with.
Right. Right. And then I think something that I feel like it's so important, so powerful is also you might get pre-approved for this amount, but then if you look at your monthly payment that you do get an estimate when you get pre-approved, maybe you're like, I don't want to spend all that money that I'm pre-approved for because I want to have, this monthly payment, this mortgage payment. So I think that's really important.
Very important. It's very helpful. Because again, you just know where you stand in your finances.
Right.
And it's very transparent and it's listed on a sheet, on an estimated cost sheet. So you know exactly what you need to plan for.
Right. And then also now, obviously we help buyers and sellers. Something that we are doing now when we're listing things is call the lender and double check. Like, hey, what documents have you actually reviewed? Are they actually pre-approved? Can they close sooner?
Sure.
Or could we have a shorter financial contingency?
Sure.
So just doing that heavy lifting ahead of time really sets you in the right direction and,
Agreed. I mean, working the way that, especially the way that we work, really as a team.
Yes.
For our buyers.
Absolutely.
It makes a huge difference.
Right.
And it just, it helps the process, just run smoother. And it just makes it a more, pleasurable.
Yes. Exactly. Instead of having surprises, which
can happen. I mean, it's lots of surprises, especially in this market.
Yes.
And I think 2022 is going to be, it's kind of a similar market.
Right.
Where people are moving and transitioning and such.
Right.
So
yeah. Well, now I have the $1 million question.
Okay.
How can I boost my credit score?
Oh, the credit score. Oh gosh. So, I mean, the best way to boost our credit scores is always let's pay our debts on time. And that seems, to be Captain Obvious there, pay your debts on time. But that is really the good old fashioned way is to pay your debts on time. Now, if you are trying to boost your credit score in a short period of time, There are a couple of things that you could do. One would be to pay any credit cards or installment loans that you have outstanding. If you can get that outstanding balance down to 30% of whatever your credit line is.
Okay.
That's the golden rule for boosting your credit score. So the credit scores are sensitive to that. They look at that 30% inflection point. So if you're under 30% on your credit line, then that's going to boost your score. So you could actually go in, look at your debts, pay those down to 30%, and that could help boost your credit score within that 30-day period. The credit card companies, for example, report every 30 days.
Okay.
So that's one way to boost your credit score.
Okay.
Now, what we do for our clients is we can actually, once we've pulled your credit, we have a file, we have an application and a file put together, we can go into certain, and do simulations.
Oh,
so we can actually help with that. And, if you pay this debt to this level and such, we can rerun a score to give us an idea.
Okay.
So there's a few ways to boost your credit score.
Okay.
And that's managing some of those outstanding balances would be one big one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Love that. Taking notes. Now, so let's say I'm already pre-approved. I have my letter. I found the dream home, and my offer has been accepted. Yay! Yay! Huge accomplishment in this market. Huge. What's next on your side?
Okay. So on my side, ideally you had been pre-approved. We had your file ready to go. We were just waiting for find your home. And at that point, you would just send me a copy of the contract. Okay. And I would take the contract. I would update your the file. I would send the client a updated cost sheet. Okay. With the closing attorney, with specifics. Right. The actual closing date. Yes. And then the client would have a list of all the closing costs needed so that they're prepared to come to closing. Okay. At that point, that's when we would start making sure that we have all of our documents in file. Okay. So to validate what is on the 1003. And from that point on, it moves pretty quickly. Okay. I mean, it's within a 30-day window for sure. Okay. Yes. So that's when I would be talking with the client more regularly. Yeah. Just hit the button. No, I'm in the button stance.
But that's nice.
Okay, sorry about that. Okay, perfect. Now, I want to ask you, what are some mistakes that you see, buyers doing while you're in that process that you would never think it could affect you, but it could really, break the deal, basically?
That's a great question because, when you're, having an exciting transaction in your life, such as buying a new home. Yes. Some people get really excited and go out and buy furniture, for an example. Yes. And what you want to do when you're in the process of getting a home mortgage in a mortgage world, you just don't want to make any large purchases. Okay. Because it affects, obviously, the debt. And when we're doing a home mortgage, it's largely driven on your debt to income. Right. So I always advise, just as an abundance of caution, I always try to tell people proactively, hey, I know this is exciting. I would want to be wanting to go out and already decorate and buy. And some people are maybe going into their first home. Right. And they've been in an apartment. Right. And they're thinking, oh my gosh, I've got, several rooms to furnish now. Right. And let's do it now before we, move and have to, so it makes a lot of sense. Right. So because you can schedule the furniture to come and everything is seamless. Right. But that has made it where clients cannot close.
Okay.
They ultimately went from being able to be approved for the loan to not being approved. And that's horrible because there's nothing that I can do.
Right.
So that's a big one.
Yes.
So basically just don't buy any large purchase.
Okay.
Yeah.
If for some reason we had to some sort of emergency, whatever, probably call you and just make sure that,
Yes, let's discuss it.
Yes.
It's not always the case.
Right.
Sometimes there's room
Right.
to do that.
Right.
But I would say that anytime where there's money moved or large, it could be a large deposit that comes in.
Yes. Yes.
That's not a problem, but we have to document for
Right.
that. So it does create more paperwork.
Right.
When there's money coming in or going out, that's not been the norm in the past.
Right.
So I just try to encourage everyone to keep everything consistent
Right.
the way that, you've been spending and such
Right.
until you close the loan. Once you close the loan, you can do anything you want.
Right. Right. So something that I think it's important for us to mention is large deposits.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes you will sell whatever, your parents gift you money,
Sure.
and then it kind of, red flag for underwriting.
Right.
So share with us a little bit about what we need to do. If someone wants to gift us money to use it for down payment,
Sure,
closing costs,
sure.
how do we do it
Yeah.
and not get in trouble?
Right. So basically what the underwriters in the home mortgage world want to make sure is that wherever the money is coming from, it just has to be sourced.
Okay.
It has to be, you have to be able to track it. So if it's a family member giving you money for a down payment, that's absolutely acceptable.
Okay.
But we just would need to see from that family member via either a letter of explanation or a bank statement,
Okay.
just verifying where those funds come from. And as long as you can verify where the funds come from, then no problems. Unfortunately, it can't just be cash that you've had literally under your mattress, so to speak.
Right.
That's the one thing that it's fine. It's cash.
Right.
I mean, it's been under a mattress. You've been saving it or in a shoebox.
Right.
But for home mortgage purposes, unfortunately,
Right.
that cannot be used.
Right. Right. I think something that I want to share is recently I had this client that sold his penthouse in Colombia, and he was going to use those funds to pay for his down payment here. And it was fine. Like, thankfully, we did everything, ahead of time. We had the documents translated and it was absolutely fine. But as long as, we know exactly where the money's coming from,
Mm-hmm.
it made it so much easier.
Sure.
Yeah.
Everything just has to be documented.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as you can, document everything, and that could be just sometimes a letter of explanation for the
Mhm.
file, just coming directly from the borrower. That works too.
Okay.
But I mean, to your point, I think it's really important that you're just working closely with your lender. Always let your lender know what your plans are,
Right.
so that we can work together to
Right.
make sure. A lot of it has to do with just the communication and making sure that everything is lined up the way that it should be for the approval process.
Right.
Yeah.
Perfect. Another question that we had was, if you are applying with someone else, so let's say I'm applying with my spouse and his credit score is better than mine, but I want to be in the how can we do this?
Sure. We see all different scenarios like that. So if you are applying with your spouse and one credit score is better than the other, clearly with home mortgages, the cost of the home mortgage, meaning the interest rate, is highly driven off of your credit score.
Oh.
So that is really the main component to
Okay.
driving costs. So if the spouse's income is not needed to qualify, meaning you can qualify on your own,
right.
you wouldn't need your spouse's income. then you could absolutely just decide that, you know what, I'm going to take my spouse off of the loan.
Mhm.
And then at closing, the spouse could go on title to the home.
Okay.
If the spouse's income is needed for qualifying purposes, which is more likely the scenario that we see,
Okay.
then you would have to include that credit score. And the way that it works is we take the middle score
Mm-hmm.
of the 3 reporting agencies and of each borrower, and whichever is lower is what the most conservative lower number is what we would be going off of. So it just depends on the income calculation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Awesome. A lot of good information. I don't know if Megan is here. Some people might know her from YouTube. Megan, I don't know if you have some questions for us. Oh, they won't be able to see you.
Okay.
Yeah. Questions.
Hi. So let's say, I feel like this is like a common maybe myth, with paying off your credit card, would like paying it off early ever in a scenario harm you?
That's an interesting question because you would think that paying it off early would be the right thing to do and it would help. So what I say to that is you just want to make sure that, you know, the credit cards report to the credit agencies every 30 days. So you want to at least keep an outstanding balance long enough so that the credit card companies would report and it would show a balance and it would show usage. So as long as you're giving it time to show that you're using credit, because that's important too. We need to see an established pattern of using credit responsibly. So as long as you're giving it time to report and then, you know, pay it off, then, you know, absolutely good to, you know, to pay off your balances on a regular basis, but give it time to report. Awesome. Because if you pay it off too soon, it's just going to show a zero balance and it won't show the actual usage.
Okay.
So
that makes sense.
I encourage folks to, you know, pull up your credit reports at least once or twice a year.
Okay.
And you can get a free copy of that once a year.
Okay.
And you can monitor. It's fairly easy to pull the reports. I think some people think it's difficult and it used to be, but it's gotten much easier now to actually go in and pull your reports. And again, you get at least one. I think maybe because of COVID now, they allow you to pull 2 or 3 a year.
Okay.
Free.
Okay. Oh, I wanted to ask you, so in regards to COVID specifically, so let's say I had to stop paying my rent or paying my mortgage. Right. But then now I'm moving to Georgia. So is that going to affect me some way?
Yes. So when we obviously have seen this all year, where clients, and this is a responsible thing to do, where they've actually worked with their current mortgage lender, and worked out maybe a forbearance plan. Okay. To get them over, you know, whatever hump that they need to get over. Okay. That won't stop you from getting a loan, but you've got to be, here's the rule is, you've got to be out of forbearance for 3 months. Okay. You have to pay your mortgage in full for 3 months. You can't pay 3 months at one time. Okay. That's the big trick there. You have to, they want to see every month that you pay. Okay. So you have to be out of forbearance and then the 3-month window. Okay. So just an important thing to keep in mind. It doesn't stop you from getting a home loan, but as you're planning on purchasing and timing and contracts and such, you just want to make sure you plan for that timing. Right.
So what about if, you know, if it was my house and the money that I'm making from that house is what I'm going to use to pay for that. Is that an option for those 3 months that I had in? Yes.
So let me see if I understand. So you sell a house.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And I'm gonna make money out of it.
Right.
So, and that money, I want to use it for the 3 months that I didn't pay my mortgage. Is that still okay?
That's still okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It doesn't have to be that I already have that money in the bank. The numbers just have to make sense. I
Exactly.
guess. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. So I think we will open it for Q&A. If there's anybody that has a question, please unmute yourself or send it into the chat box, please. Hello, we're from South Florida. Oh, she's from South Florida. We're primarily looking at Beaufort, Alpharetta, Johns Creek. We would love some tips of areas to check out. We will be there in 2 weeks. Awesome. Yes.
Yay.
Perfect. Yeah, definitely. So I will type into the chat box my information, and we will definitely reach out and give you some awesome spots that you guys can go for sure. So
Thank you so much.
Oh, yes. Hi.
Hi.
What is your name?
I'm Roro. We're from Miami, Florida.
Okay.
Yeah, we went to Alpharetta last December actually, and it was our first time. And being new, oh, perfect. Thank you for your information. I'll send you an email right away. So we drove around without really knowing too well the area. So it was all new. It was kind of hard to tell, like, where should we be looking, etc. So obviously with taking a year, things, settling things here, and we want to go back. We're going back in 2 weeks just to be dedicate more time and focus on like Beaufort. We have young children, one in high school, one in elementary, so we want to look at the schools as well. So yeah, we're getting more serious and focused now.
Awesome.
Great.
That's awesome. Absolutely. Please reach out to us. Daryl can definitely share with you. Usually when we know that a family from out of state is coming, we'll block definitely some time to show you around and just go to different spots and kind of give you a better feeling of Georgia and what different even counties have to offer. So
Oh, that would be amazing.
yes.
Perfect.
Thank you for joining us today.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's see. Hello. Does it ever make sense to refinance student loans into a home equity loan when buying a house to help refinance consolidate debt?
So home equity loans are a great way to consolidate and pay off debt.
Okay.
The rates are typically low on home equity loans. It really just depends on the numbers. I mean, just look at the interest rate that you have now and your terms. And if you have to consider there are closing costs that would be involved in any type of loan transaction.
Okay.
So I would say that if you're planning on staying in the home for a while, then tapping into your equity to consolidate debt is not a bad thing to consider for sure.
Okay. I'm going to put your phone number here too, just
Sure.
so people can call you. 404?
Yeah, 404-964-5080.
0. Mm-hmm.
And feel free to reach out anytime.
Yeah.
And I don't mind text messages.
Okay.
Yeah. Just if you want to, anybody wants to establish a good time to maybe get on a call, but call, text,
Everything.
Yeah. That's fine.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't mind.
Right. And we will be available. I'll be working pretty much until not exactly like Christmas and New Year's, but I'm definitely going to be here working. Yes. And Kelley's so awesome. I love working with her because she's always like I'm like, Kelley, please help me. We need to get reapproved. So yes. Any more questions? No? We're good? Okay.
Well, if anybody thinks of anything, you know how to find us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
With any questions, anytime.
Oh, I think Daryl, do you have a question?
No, I was just listening to the comment that if we need to contact you, we know how to get in touch. That's true. Right now, my brain is not focusing well because I got up early to make this call. So I have to get some more rest. So I'll be thinking, you know me, I always contact you. So,
Reach
let
out
me think.
anytime. There's a
Yeah.
lot to consider in this
Yes.
process. And Paulina and I love just working with buyers and helping sellers as well.
Of course.
So
Yes.
One thing I will ask though is the home application loan, the application. How can I receive that?
well, that's it's very simple. I could send a link.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's my name. It's www.kellydantoulis.com. And you can just reach out to me, email, text, and I can send you that link, and you click on and literally takes you right to the landing page to apply.
Daryl, I will
You're
email you.
sending it to me now. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna email you.
By the way, we're sending it to you right now.
Okay. That's thank you. Thank you.
So I'll do that. And our goal is to do this call, I think, once a month, just to kind of keep everybody involved and also keep everybody updated on what the market is doing.
Mhm.
Are there a lot of new construction in Beaufort? Yes, there is new construction. I think the only challenge right now with new construction is that most of the time, if the homes are ready, they will submit to highest and best. So that's one thing. If you, have time and flexibility, it is taking about 8 to 12 months to build a house, just because there's still a lot of shortage in building material. But there is definitely new construction in Beaufort. Yep. Yes. And then you'll be hearing from my wife and I soon. Awesome. Malika, thank you so much. Good morning, all. I'm a first-time home buyer. What would you recommend? Is it to buy newly constructed house, or is it okay if there is a house in Alpharetta which is a decade old? Ooh, good question. I would have to say, I would have to say it's where is the new house? Is it also in Alpharetta? I don't know.
Yeah, this is Muhammad. Good morning, all. Yesterday, I looked the house in IMT Deerfield, right?
Yes. How are you?
I'm good. So my question here is, we are spending a huge amount for buying a new house.
Mhm.
Okay. So my question is, if I buy a house which is newly constructed,
Mhm.
and if that doesn't come in my expense in my budget, let's suppose my budget is like 550 and 550K at the most,
Mhm.
and I'm looking something which is a 3 bedroom and 2 bath minimum and a basement. And if I get a house that is at least that is constructed in 2011 or 2012, which meets my requirement, is it okay if I go to that one, or is it good enough to take a house which is newly constructed?
I mean, I think it's a little bit about personal preference, honestly. There's people that they never want to buy new construction. And there's people that they're okay with moving into, resale. I think whichever house has your top five must-haves, I would go with that one. Whether it's new or resale, if it has what you're looking for and it has all those like top features that you're looking for, go with that one. And of course, you want to make sure that you do a very, very thorough inspection in that house.
Yeah, and another question is that, so another question comes to my mind is, if I buy a house that is old, so as the time passes, there will be a maintenance coming up. We don't know what maintenance will come up. So my thinking here is, if I buy a new house, then all the things that are there, I already knew it's a newly constructed. I don't have to worry about anything that's there. So
Mhm.
that's what I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm. So from where I'm hearing, I think new construction would be better for you, just because it seems like it's your preference to not have to deal with any maintenance, with which, yes, I mean, you should always maintain a resale or a new construction, but you're probably gonna have a little bit more things happen to resale.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm, mhm.
Yeah. So new construction might be the way for you.
Okay, I got your answer. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Lots of decisions.
I know.
Big decisions.
But
They're
yeah.
exciting, but
Yes.
it's a lot to consider.
Yes. Yes. And especially just like you bought a resale that probably has everything that you were
Right.
like, the right layout,
Right.
right location, but then
Yeah, you do the best that you can. I guess
Yeah.
you get the inspections and such.
yeah, inspections very important.
Yeah.
Roro, is the buying process experiencing a lot of bidding wars? So yes, we are still seeing a lot of bidding wars, unfortunately, but there are definitely ways of being extremely proactive like we are, and I think that's thankfully why I've been able to be so successful. It's because we move really fast, and we have a team of people that are helping us all the time, because it's not common for a lender like Kelley. So if Kelley has pre-approved a client for me, and I'm like, Kelley, I'm going to submit an offer for Daryl, and we're submitting the offer like in the next hour, please call the agent and let them know that Daryl is ready to go. And Kelley will make that call. And that is such a big difference.
It really sets us apart.
It does.
Timing.
Because, as a listing agent is like, oh, they're ready. They're on the gate, they're professional. They're ready. We won't have an issue. They were the first or second family to see the house. Is like, we are ready. And that is really how we've been able to be.
It does. I mean, it really sets
successful.
us apart.
Yeah.
Working as a team to just move fast.
Yeah, exactly.
And the pre-approval process, as you said, is huge, because that's a perfect example
Exactly.
of you're prepared. You're
Yes.
pre-approved.
I did my homework.
Versus that person coming in, making an offer too, and they're like, haven't even talked to a lender yet. So they have a lot of work to do.
Yes. Absolutely.
Just moving fast.
Exactly. Just having the team in place can definitely help us in this fast-paced market. Also, inspectors, we have an inspector that can literally go the next day. So, to just when you are a listing agent, all of that is like perfect. We need someone that is ready to buy the house, and that is going to be, a smooth process. So
yeah,
there
are ways to
exactly.
to work it.
Exactly. Okay, I think that's it for today. So we thank you.
This has been so much fun.
I know, it is so much fun. We thank everybody for joining us today. We are planning to do this at least once a month, and we'll have different topics, and we will update everybody on what the market is doing. Obviously, in the next, it's really not slowing that much, because people have time off, so they want to go see houses.
Sure.
But we'll definitely give you details about the January Zoom meeting if you want to join us. And thanks again.
Please do. Yes. Thank you for spending your Saturday morning with us.
Yes. Daryl's gonna get some coffee.
Thank you. I will.
Have a great weekend, everyone.
You too. Enjoy.
Happy
Awesome.
holidays.
Happy
Yes.
holidays.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye. Thank you for the information.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Have a good one.